Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing my April native plant garden tour. This is the first of a series of videos where I'm going to be sharing how these native plants are growing over the whole growing season, just so you have a better idea of what to expect when you're planning your own garden design. Spring is finally here and the plants are starting to peek out of the earth, and I'm very excited just to show you how things are looking right now. I've even got a couple blooms. I'm going to be sharing some red trillium with you, which I'm very pumped about. So let me get to the videos now. Thank you so much for watching. Here is our Prairie Smoke in my boulevard garden, and it's looking really great. We've got a whole bunch of new growth here. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, a bunch of plants that have all started from one. So it's spreading out really nicely. And we've got some blooms starting here. Here is the start of some of those beautiful, very unique flowers. So I'll probably have those for you in the next video. And this was just one plant about 2 years ago, and now it's spread out into this. We've got a couple new ones in the other boulevard garden as well, because it's such an awesome plant. Here in the middle of my boulevard garden is my wild blue lupin, and don't mind the cars going by. I can't really stop them, but it's doing well. It's all starting to peek through the leaves here, and I definitely think I need to move some of these leaves now because look, they are screaming for sunshine. So I'm gonna help these guys out a bit and fluff these up after I'm done taking these videos, but they might need a bit of a hand. Here's my nodding onion, and it's looking a little bit bigger than last year. Last year, it kind of looked like this spindly little patch over here. But this year, these two are looking all right. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some blooms this year. Here's my prickly pear cactus, and it is looking just as it does in April, pretty much awful. It's all wrinkly. It's not very pleased, but it's going to plump up nicely. Not to worry, it's going to bounce back. I actually moved this guy over here, so we'll see how he does. But look, I've got some seeds, so that's kind of neat. I think I'm going to collect some of these and see if I can grow them in another spot, and who knows, maybe I'll be able to have some baby cacti as well. Here's my hairy Beardtongue, and it's looking great, bigger and better and happier than last year. We've got the stalks left on from last year as well, and there could be some seeds in there. I'll probably just take some and crinkle them down in here just so we can get even more hairy Beardtongue in the garden. And then I'll clip them back maybe in May or so and put these into my pollinator pile just in case there's any critters living in there that want to come out over time. So it's a little tricky to see here, but this is my black raspberry patch, and I have a ton of growth. This is all looking so very, very happy. This plant has all sorts of leaves on it. Check this out. And all these branches are rerooting. So this came from back over there, and it's right in the ground there. So it is really making itself at home here, which is awesome. Very, very happy to see this growing. This is an aggressive plant, which I can see already because this has only been here for about a year or so. But we've got the grass over here that we'll be mowing to contain it. And then as you can see over here, there's a driveway. So just keep this in mind. If you want to plant black raspberries, it's going to try to stretch out all over the place. Another one that's a little tricky to see, but this is my Serviceberry. And look, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to have flowers this year, which means I might even get berries. This is the only successful Serviceberry I've had on my property so far. So this is a huge win. So cross your fingers for me. Nothing has nibbled this guy yet. I had this on here over the winter to protect him, and he's looking okay. So I hope to show you berries in a few weeks. This is looking a little bit messy, I have to admit. This is my New England Aster, and that's okay. We're letting it do its thing. The base here is very, very pleased. It's got all sorts of growth, and I'm going to be cutting these stalks back very soon. I'll be putting them in my pollinator pile, just in case there's any critters that are living in these stalks that need to come out a little bit later. Here is a plant that I don't remember planting. I'm not sure what this is. Do you know what this is? Let me know in the comments below. It kind of looks a little bit like goldenrod to me. Do you think it's goldenrod? Let me know. This over here is my butterfly weed, and it's not even peeking out of the ground yet. If you have butterfly weed, be patient. It's probably just taking its time. This is very, very normal. Here is my wood poppy. This is coming back great. I planted this last year. I had 2 plants, and now look, we've got these fuzzy little things. Isn't this adorable? I'm not sure if this is a seed pod for a flower that's already passed or if this is the start of the flower. So I will keep you posted. I kind of think it's a seed pod, but I never saw the yellow flowers. So we will soon see. Here is my beautiful red trillium. Is this not the most gorgeous flower? Oh, I just love it. I'm so happy to have this. This is a transplant from my mom's garden. So thank you, Mom. These are doing really, really well this year. They're very happy, although they are getting nibbled by bunnies, I think. So I lost one here and I lost another there. I tried to protect it, though it definitely got nibbled a little bit. But we've got some flowers and a couple more coming, so very exciting to share this with you. Over here behind the trillium, we've got our Christmas fern. It's pretty flat right now, so it's going to need a little bit of time to wake up, and I'm sure it'll kind of fluff up and stand up a little bit taller a little bit later. Another messy one, this is my Bottlebrush Grass. So this was awesome. It stood up nice and tall, looked really pretty with its seed heads last year. And then this is all kind of last year's foliage that's all dried out. So we'll be moving that into the pollinator pile. But you can see we've got lots of green coming along at the base. Now, I am wondering if all of these little guys are baby Bottlebrush Grass or if they're just grass from my garden. Did this thing seed a ton? This is my second year with this, and I did not have this last year, but look, we've got all sorts of grass. Is this Bottlebrush Grass or is this just randomly from my own grass? I've never seen this, so I'm wondering if I'm going to have a whole forest of Bottlebrush Grass. Do let me know what your thoughts are on this. All along the front of the garden, we've got my Woodland Strawberry. So it's spreading out very, very nicely, though it is kind of congregating in the wetter spots in the garden as opposed to the drier spots. But that's okay. It's just kind of doing its thing, and I'm happy to see it just taking over wherever it pleases. Right in the center here is my bush honeysuckle. Again, kind of tricky to see, but we've got it going here. It's coming along. However, this plant is not growing very quickly at all. This was supposed to be a big kind of specimen piece in the middle of my garden, and it's really, well, we've lost this guy. We've lost that entirely. So now we've got this one little twig here, which is probably about 12 inches long, and this one, which is double that. So I was really hoping for this to be like a centerpiece, but we will still be patient and see what happens over time. But it's not fast growing, so consider that if you get a small one in the garden like I have here. Here is my little patch of Zigzag Goldenrod. It did really well last year, and as you can see, it's spreading out very nicely. However, I do think that this plant needs a little bit moisture than what it gets in my gardens, because it just kind of looks a little crinkly, and it doesn't look like the leaves don't look quite as plump. So consider that if you're planting this, it needs a little bit maybe more moderate to more wet moisture in the garden as opposed to this more dry condition that it has here. Can you see how sad my little plant markers are? They've all gotten totally smushed by the snow. We had so much snow this year that they all got squashed. So I'm going to try to revive these guys so I don't have to get new ones. But for now, they're looking pretty sad. So this is my large-leafed aster, but they're quite tiny right now. They're little leaves right now, and they're all looking very cute, but we have lots coming along. So I think I might have a little bit more from maybe the seeds that were dropped last year as well. Hiding behind the sign right here, we've got my white trilliums, and we've got a whole bunch coming along, and hopefully the bunnies don't want to nibble these ones up too. We can see these beautiful white flowers maybe in another couple days. So this sad little clump is my wild ginger. Do you have wild ginger? Does it look like this? This is not looking very happy, but maybe this is normal for April. This is my first spring after last year planting it, so maybe it's going to come back nicely. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I always get so excited when I find my volunteer trout lily leaves. These plants take about 7 years or so to bloom when they're grown from seed, so I have a fair bit of time to wait before I might see a bloom to confirm if this is the native yellow trout lily, but I'm hoping. And they're named trout lily because of the way that the leaves look. It looks a little bit like trout fish. So hopefully I'll have blooms to share for you, but likely not in the next few years. Over here are my two choke cherry trees or bushes. We'll see how they develop over time. This one over here was from Bee Sweet Nature Company, and it's looking great. And then this one here was a transplant from my sister-in-law. It was so mad last year, but look, we've got lots of beautiful leaves coming along, and maybe we'll even get some flowers on these guys as well. Here in our shady garden or part shade garden, we've got a whole bunch of Canada anemone. Got some growing in here, all the way around the middle and to the back as well. Now this plant grows to about a foot tall or so. I wanted it kind of mid to back of the garden, but even though I moved these little guys, they are back. So they seem to think that they want to grow in the front and all the way to the back as well. So who am I to argue? We've got Solomon seal poking through all over the place. We've got some here, some there, but a tall one right here. It's going to look so nice. These grow nice and tall. They're so beautiful in the garden. They give great height. Here's some of the stalks from last year, which I'm just going to leave here. There may be critters in there, and even if they're not, I'm going to let them decompose naturally here, and I'll just cover them with mulch when I mulch the garden in a few weeks. These rusty colored leaves are my foam flower. This is very normal. I've had this for a few years now, and each spring it looks kind of rusty and pretty unhappy, but there's lots of new growth. There's all these tiny little leaves popping up. This is going to look awesome in a couple of weeks. We just got to give it a little bit of time. Look, there's some new growth there too. So I'm not worried, though it does look a little sad right now. Here in the part shade garden is my wild columbine, squeaking through, coming through all these leaves. Maybe give it a little hand to help it out. The leaves are looking a little kind of purpley and green right now, but they're all looking pretty happy in my opinion. Here's my new little patch of golden Alexanders. I grew this from seed, and last year it was quite tiny, but this year it's really jumping up, although I do think I have a couple things going in here. What do you think this guy is? Do you think he's a goldenrod? I have tons of baby goldenrod. What do you think? This horrible contraption is what is protecting my red bud tree. This tiny little tree grew really well last year. We had lots of leaves. Everything was looking happy. I'm wondering, though, if perhaps I might get some of those pretty little pink flowers along the stem here. I'm not sure, but I am definitely hoping. Either way, it made it through winter. Nothing nibbled it. And everyone was quite impressed by my amazing contraption. Not exactly beautiful right now in the garden, but it's going to look amazing come summer. This is my swamp milkweed. I have left the stalks on just in case there are critters living in them. I will remove them and probably cut them down to about 12 inches or so, and then I'll put them in my pollinator pile. And nothing is happening down at the base quite yet, but we'll see some life soon, I'm sure. These pretty purple leaves are my pale purple coneflower. So this is quite tiny right now, and they actually look like they're getting nibbled a bit. But this will grow nice and tall. Look at how tall this thing is. Woo! This was just 3 flowers or so, and it is standing at about 4 feet tall. All of the seeds got nibbled up, which is awesome. I left the stalks on there. I'll clip those down, put them in my pollinator pile, and it'll look all nice and tidy soon enough. This little guy in this contraption is one of my 2 Paw Paw trees, or wee little trees anyhow. I'm not so sure that this made it through the winter. It's not looking very happy at all. Oh, we will have hope. I will update you in a future video. Fingers crossed with signs of life. Here we have my little patch of Scarlet Beebalm. They're just wee right now, so tiny, but they will grow nice and tall. We'll have some beautiful fireworks of color come summer. Over here beside my Scarlet Beebalm is my obedient plant, and yes, it is looking pretty horrific right now. It's a bit of a mess, but I'm going to give it a haircut soon. I'll remove all of these spent stems, put them in my pollinator patch, and allow all this lovely green growth to stand up nice and tall. It'll get to about 5 feet or so. Over here is a little patch of sneezeweed. This little guy got to about maybe 3 feet tall or so, and I had another one about 4 feet tall, and they're spreading out nicely. Given the right conditions of lots of sun and moisture, they can get to about 6 feet tall. So they're not that big in my garden because they're not quite as happy, but that's okay. I'm happy with them at this size too. This sad little stick is my paper birch tree, and really it is struggling. We've lost some limbs two winters ago, and then these ones don't look happy right now. We do have some life way down here. So I am hopeful that maybe it's still doing okay and it's just getting a really good footing, and then one day it's going to jump up. So for now I have a stick. If you know how to keep this happier, do let me know in the comments. Here is my morning star sedge. We've got lots of green, so that's awesome. It's pulling in energy to the plant, though I do see that we've got some of this dried foliage. So I might give it a bit of a haircut to clean it up. We will see. What do you recommend? Here amongst these branches, we've got my white turtle head. And look, there's all sorts of it coming up. This is very exciting. I thought I might have lost this guy because it was pretty angry by the end of the season. It needs a bit more water than what is naturally in my garden. So if you can give it more moisture in the garden, it's going to be happier, though I did get lots of blooms, and clearly it's coming back. Here we have my wild blue phlox, and it is looking so happy. Look at this. This is awesome. Maybe we'll even get some flowers this year. I have yet to have flowers on this plant. It's getting established, but maybe this is my year. It is a little difficult to see, but this wiggly little thing down here is my spice bush. I protected it with this contraption, but I see signs of life. Let me see if I can zoom in there. Do you see? It's coming. So I'm gonna give it a little space and remove that white little protector, and hopefully it'll get much bigger this year. I've heard it grows quickly, but it's still only about 1.5 feet tall right now. Over here is my great blue lobelia. Doesn't it look a little bit like lettuce right now? I have no idea if this plant is poisonous, so please don't eat it unless you look that up. I'm going to leave it be because I want to see those beautiful 5 feet tall flowers that we're going to get midsummer or so. Beside the great blue lobelia, this is my Canada goldenrod. Now look, it's just wee right now. This thing could get 10 feet tall, and look at all its babies. It made a ton of babies. So very important to know that this plant can grow by rhizomes and also by seed. So I deadheaded it. Is this from rhizomes? Oh man, that's a lot. So I'm going to be pulling some of these out and sharing them with friends, or maybe putting them in the pollinator patch that's near the school by my home. Here is my smooth rose. So this guy is growing quite well in this pot here. And look, I've got all sorts of growth happening. It's very, very happy, and it's going to get a new home over time. But for now, we're going to leave it in this pot until I find its happy home. Here we have my fall sowing station. I got a whole bunch of seeds in there that I sowed last fall, and I even have some growth already. I'm not sure what these guys are yet because I do not have a sign in there. So I'm gonna have to go look back at my fall videos to figure out what that guy is, but very exciting. Hopefully I'll have a whole bunch of growth over time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found the video interesting and helpful. If I missed anything, or if you have any tips to share about any of the plants featured, please share them in the comment section below so we can all learn from each other. As I said, we're going to do lots of videos throughout the whole growing season, so I hope that you'll subscribe to follow along. Thanks again for watching, and happy gardening!